Other headlines, alcohol has become a leading cause of death worldwide. A University of Washington study estimates nearly 3 million people die every year because of it. It also found no evidence that even light drinking is good for you. Alcohol is now the leading cause of death for people between 15 and 49. And it's a problem Alcoholics Anonymous groups are constantly working to curb. If you're looking for help, there are plenty of places out there to find it, including one that's celebrating a big milestone. Reporter Gabrielle Hays takes us inside an Alcoholics Anonymous clubhouse that's been helping people for almost 40 years. Gabrielle.
Daniel, 38 years ago, the Park 40 Clubhouse started with one AA group and just a few members. Today, decades later, the clubhouse helps multiple groups a day and dozens a week.
It's the kind of place where anonymity is key.
People are really utilizing the space, and it's amazing.
For 38 years, the Park 40 Clubhouse has hosted Alcoholics Anonymous groups and events, inviting people to walk through the door, grab a cup of coffee, and share their story.
It's a fellowship, it's friends, it's family, like today with the anniversary.
Club President Stuart Pack says it all started ahead of the 1982 World's Fair.
The World's Fair was on its way here, and people had concerns that there wasn't going to be, I guess, enough meeting space or the right kind of meetings or availability, and so they started a 5:30 meeting here at Park 40.
But 38 years of supporting people through their process isn't the only thing the club has to celebrate.
We recently made some renovations to the space.
The almost 40-year-old safe space just got an upgrade.
We improved the lighting, we've improved specific rooms, smaller rooms that we have for meetings in the space.
Pack says with the new space comes new opportunities to help more people.
Over the years, it just grew into not just a clubhouse, but one of the biggest clubhouses in East Tennessee, Knoxville.
Because with every member comes a new chance to spread new hope.
It's so much also about recovery, and one of the things that we say around here, it's posted on a placard by the door, is hope is found here, and some of the people like to say take some with you.
Pack says the clubhouse is constantly adding new meetings and encourages anyone struggling to reach out. Back to you.